Hey, what's up, everyone? It's Rich. All right, welcome to Open That Book, J.C. Leyendecker, Part 2. I'm just going to give you a quick shot of the dust jacket before we roll into this. If you haven't checked out Part 1, just look one video back on my channel, and it will immerse you into the awesome world of J.C. Leyendecker. All right, let's look at the back. We can do the back, and then also want to take off the... Okay, so this. I almost want to say that this is the cover for the older book. There's a book that was put out in 1974 that I had picked up from... Stuart NG a while back, and it's pretty cheap on eBay, all things considered. This book has better reproductions. If you're going to get one, just grab this one. Okay, I'm gonna flip this over. Let me pause this for 1 sec, and we'll look at the inside dust jacket, and then we're going to get rolling, pick up where we left off yesterday. All right, hold on. Okay, so with the dust jacket off, we saw this in the previous video, but I want to flip it over. I didn't do it last time, but sorry, I feel like I'm rushing. I'm fired up. Leyendecker does that to me. And in terms of recap on like a little bit about the artist and whatnot, just check out the first video because I don't want to rehash what we already talked about unless I find that it's kind of a natural sort of you know, as we go through the book, if I see stuff, I'll obviously share whatever information that I know. There are a few small errors in the first video, nothing major. I actually wrote a comment addressing one of them. It had been a while since I had looked at the book, and also when I'm filming, I'm looking through the camera and kind of focused on the book, and so little mistakes can happen. But again, nothing really catastrophic that's gonna send you down the wrong path on your quest for more Leyendecker. Okay, so let's get into the book. I'm gonna pause it for 1 more second. Okay, so this is where we left off. These are some different ads he did ads for cereal and for milk and for coffee and stuff like that, which was really common in the 1910s, 20s, 30s, 40s, and these guys had to work. And although I'm sure Leyendecker was a very highly paid illustrator, got to get paid, yo. Wherever you're living, and he had a beautiful home. He actually bought a mansion, so he got to pretty much celebrity status in terms of being, like a famous living artist. Again, just fantastic characterization, beautiful hands, really crazy anatomy that's just gorgeous, very stylized lighting. Again, this is very, very difficult to replicate, and you run the risk of it just looking like style kind of lumped onto a piece if you try to do some of these Leyendecker isms with the like white highlights and stuff on things. He had a really good eye for it. It was something that naturally evolved into his work, and what ends up happening is if you look at it from farther away, do you see how it blends in? It's his eye for value that makes it work. So when you look at it close, it's more abstract and stylish. Okay, so we just saw this. This is really cool. Her face and hair is just really, really cool. This dude. This is a guy that looks like my uncle. This too. A little bit. Okay, so let's see. We should be getting the post covers pretty soon. I would assume that this book, it's been a while since I looked at it. I love the fold on that jacket. Wow. He's really, really good at painting fabric too. I mean, it's pretty incredible how carefree it looks when you actually look at the application of the paint. And yet, man, it was really, really believable. It just shows how talented he is. He's great with shoes and the highlights on the shoes, and this couch just looks killer. Sorry for the glare. It's actually kind of rainy out today, so it's a little dark outside, which is making my office have weird light. Again, look at the illumination on his shirt. You can almost like tell it's kind of a silky material, and it's getting these really cool kind of shimmery highlights, and the material, the pants kind of feel different. Oh, beautiful, just like little bits of, I don't know if it's a blue or what that's coming through like on his knee, and then where his thumb is pressing down. Do you see that? It's like kind of cool shadows. It's very, very nice. Again, great hands. Okay, so let's go. Man, this book is big. Okay, this is, back when they would only use, I don't know if they consider it 3 colors or 1 color, but a lot of the early Saturday Evening Posts were black and white-ish with red. Red would be the only color, but I don't really understand the process of how they printed this stuff. So as you can see, some of the red can spill over and kind of create orangish. And this could be, if this is off the original, there may be more color apparent than what actually was published. But yeah, if you find old, even I think Rockwell pieces, you can see that process. This is old, looks like a news clipping. This must be a pretty rare piece. Okay, so we won't go through these little tiny ones. We'll get to the bigger stuff. There's a trading card set of Leyendecker, and there's also a brown book that's kind of like a soft cover that's big. It's thin. I think it's considered a poster book. He has great animals. Man alive. Really, really nice. So this is from 1907. I can't remember what year he was born, but you'll see the evolution of his stuff. Okay, yeah. Oh, so cool. They are kind of going chronologically. This is nice. Again, more limited palette, probably based on publication limitations at the time. Let's see if I can. I'm trying to get good light here. There's no sunshine outside, so it's a little. This is what I deal with at night when I try to work. It's brutal, like all these like weird cast shadows and stuff. Really nice hand. I've got 3 different lights, but it's not enough. I need to really, that's kind of one of my goals for the next few months, is to really improve the lighting in my office so that I can work at night in the most effective way. If anyone has any suggestions on lighting for working at night as an artist, please let me know. This bag is great. Again, his forms are so chunky and beefy, and as you'll see, he got kind of famous for doing like the New Year's Baby. Man, that knocker is just great. Just big dabs of paint, but he gets this like texture. Do you see like it has a brassy texture in there too? The darker stuff. That's really wild. And again, you pull back and it's just boom, so nice. Again, this book is a little hard to flip through. Okay, oh, this is cool. Man, these reproductions are great. Like I said, I bought this book, and I probably have flipped through parts of it, but I really haven't looked at it. So again, that's the concept behind Open That Book, is art books that I have that I haven't looked at in a while, or that I maybe had never had the time to really go through. I like to set aside time to look at art books. So when I look at them, I really want to spend some time with it, and time is a precious commodity when you're a working artist, so a lot of times that time never actually happens. I have a lot of really pretty big, huge scans of Leyendecker stuff, so if I really generally get the bug, I would normally go through my like Leyendecker folders, and I can find like photos that some friends took when they went to see his stuff in person and whatnot. Yeah, so these are still all the older pieces. Man, it's so great though. Very, very, man, this would be quite a piece to do. Holy cow. Look at that. Again, great animals, just really solid shapes. They're very fun silhouettes. And it just looks cool, man. It just looks cool. Look at that. Boom, chakalaka. You can actually, like, Drew Struzan was heavily influenced by Leyendecker, so you can see a little bit of the Struzan thing in it. And I know someone had mentioned Jerome Pena. They thought that maybe they saw some Leyendecker in his stuff, but it's probably a chain of influences that all kind of like sort of take you to that thought. But I'm not going to assume what he's into, because I don't know his work good enough. He's really, really talented, but I don't consider myself much of an expert on what he does. Super cool. Look at that face, man. And again, that stippled lighting on it is really wild. The hands, whew, man. Okay. Hello, baby. Feet. The bottle. Been there, done that with the ink bottle, that's for sure. Holy cow. If I had a nickel for every page I inked. Okay, let's get into... Okay, here we go. I can see they're starting to... This is sort of the transformation period. So these are still 1916. around the 20s, it really gets pretty insane with the color and stuff like that. I think a lot of those guys felt, I don't know if they felt limited, but you know what I mean? There was a limited palette that they could really use for the published covers. And so when those restrictions were like lifted off of him, I think especially someone like Leyendecker, he really came alive. Man, that face is great. God. Again, another awesome hand. Look at the jacket, the pleat on that sleeve. It's just killer. Another nice hand. Good attention to detail. This is nice. Oh, haha. He's trying to talk to her. The wood texture is just so cool, so simple too. He just knew how to lay down the paint and get a look that was really, really believable. Occasionally you'll actually see his stuff go up for auction and some of the bigger like art auction things. And if you really look, you can kind of see the application of paint. You can see the canvas and then like a real thin coat of sort of like the lighter color, and then the darker strokes are really, it's just thicker paint and a little deeper value on it, but you know, it's just all layered on top of each other. And the stuff that's lighter is generally just a thinner application of paint. It's pretty wild. I mean, he does change the value of that paint too, though, at times, but you'd be surprised. A lot of it is just, it's a real thin coat. Again, you can see how this stuff was pretty heavily influenced Rockwell early on in his career. And again, I talk about it a little bit in the other video. The one thing that I said that he had met Leyendecker. Oh, these are when it gets really good. Rockwell, one of the stories is that he would go to the train station and watch Leyendecker actually get off the train. You know, and it would really kind of charge him up, you know, to just even see this painter that he admired so much. They lived close enough together that Rockwell was aware that Leyendecker was around. But yeah, he would actually wait at the train station and watch him come in, and they definitely had met. Rockwell later in his life was a bit more critical of Leyendecker's work, but again, he was still very respectful to the artist. But you can look into that for yourself and make your own opinions on. Man, that hand is great. I always love this piece. The foliage on those leaves is great too. And again, another really nice pair of hands. Face is just terrific. But yeah, art is fun, and you know, hopefully for people that maybe haven't seen Leyendecker's work and you know you're more focused on comic stuff, I mean, it's a really good opportunity with someone like me who's come up through a studio and worked with a lot of artists. You know, I've been exposed to a lot of different stuff based on the friendships and stuff that I have through art, and it all kind of goes down the line. And now I've shared the book with you and you're going to check it out, and you know, the goal is to just always kind of be moving things forward. We respect the past, we bring it into our work, and I like his tie. And yeah, you know, that's the hope, is that each generation builds on the past. Man, that globe is great. He is so good. Stuff like this, it's just you know, it's not even like a focus of the thing, and it's so loose, but it's just all there. That's all you need. And it works, and it just looks awesome. Look at the wood holding it. You see that? I'm telling you, we're not even at the best stuff. This is him warming up. I'm not even kidding either. He's actually really great with black skin. It's probably a difficult thing to paint. I'm not a painter, so I can't really speak on that specifically. But I mean, that is really gorgeous, really, really beautiful, and I would imagine somewhat challenging. So you really got to get the values right. You know, it's like like, I love the little splashes of color in it too, man. It's like, you can really, like, man, it's just beautiful, beautiful, beautiful work. The guy really had a passion for, like, life. You can see it in his work because it's so alive, you know. Everything was important to him. Everything he respected everything that he painted, and his kids get weird for me. I'll be honest. I'm not a huge fan of the New Year's baby stuff. I don't dislike it, but they're kind of creepy babies. The birds that he draws or paints are beautiful though. But yeah, the New Year's babies is the only sort of like I'm like, oh, I don't know. But they're always well done. But he's kind of famous for that. It's yeah, I don't know. The kind of scary babies. Oh, this is a great piece. I actually own the Saturday Evening Post that this is published on. I said in the last video that I actually would go and collect these, and they can range anywhere from 20 to a couple $100, depending on the condition of the magazine and how, you know, how it looks and how the color is held up over. God, now you're talking close to 100 years ago. Isn't that crazy? This stuff was done like almost 100 years ago. And you know what? I'm gonna throw this out for people that have watched Open That Books with me before. Do you remember the Mobius one that I did? Well, I think the book is actually Jean Giraud, but anyway, it's the blue cover one with all the like Western stuff in it. That was a year ago. Can you imagine that we did that Open That Book a year ago? It seems like it was just a few months back. So time flies. You really, really have to be aware of time. I actually like this. This is pretty cool. Man, God, his shapes are just great. And again, like the lighting on the legs, it just looks so cool. So 1924, a long time ago. And there's some really, really, like, that's a beautiful, beautiful piece. I'm glossing over, I mean, each time, look at this. Just to show you how cool this stuff is. But they're kind of small on the page, and I don't want to be like, I love this too. All the girls, like, pretend like they're drowning because of the hunky lifeguard. And this piece is great. I have this in the Real Magazine, and I have this in the Real Magazine too. This piece too, there's a different version of this Santa where there's actually more light on it, different color, and this is great too. I mean, you could totally see like Rockwell in that, you know. Norman was like, yes. Not sure what year Norman Rockwell started hopping on Saturday Evening Post covers, but this is beautiful. But yeah, and as I mentioned in the other video, as far as I know, Rockwell was, although critical of Leyendecker's work as he got older, and I mean, like, as Rockwell got older, sort of the gloves came off, and there were things that he kind of missteps that he thought Leyendecker had maybe done. But he was respectful enough of his stuff that he actually stopped one shy of doing more Saturday Evening Post covers than him. Look at those hands. Which I find very, very cool. So again, J.C. Leyendecker did somewhere between 300 and 400 post covers, if I'm not mistaken, and Rockwell basically stopped one short of doing more than him, which is pretty cool. And again, as everyone knows, oh yeah, this is when they start getting really, really crazy. You know, Rockwell is hands down probably the most famous, at least generally speaking, post cover artist, and Leyendecker, although known and loved by artists and hardcore art fans, probably, you know, a normal person is not going to have any idea who J.C. Leyendecker is, and a lot of artists don't too. You know, it blows me away how many people don't know who Alphonse Mucha is, and if they do, they only know a very superficial, like a very small section of his work. But I ask people all the time about Mucha, and honestly, I would say 80% don't know who he is. So if you don't know Alphonse Mucha, look it up, because he's great too. Different. He wasn't. I mean, he did do commercial work, but he wasn't working for the Post or anything like that. Man, that is so awesome. Like I said, these just get ridiculous. The color and the ornateness of these are just absolutely unbelievable. Creepy baby. She's cute. That's really nice. I like that. This is beautiful. I'm guessing that maybe the way that they kind of chose which pieces, oh yeah, the Thanksgiving, this is great, is probably what they had the biggest access to, the biggest scans or photos of, because, you know, obviously if all you have is an old magazine reproduction of a piece. Oh, man, look at that. I'm assuming that's pine, but man, the branches and the whatever you call it, needles, man, it's so nice. Again, really cool shoes. They're super loose, but it just works. He's always great with weapons. The book is beautiful too. Oh, man. But you see what I'm saying is he loves everything. Everything gets the love. The shoulder pad got love. The freaking rip in the fabric got love. It all gets love. And that's what you have to be passionate about, what you draw. And honestly, I mean, that's why your style is so important, because when you focus on trying to emulate someone else, you're chasing something that is, probably some of it's just not going to be natural to you. It's not going to be really what your interests are. And this is so cool. But if you can just keep accumulating in life things that you love to draw, then you're ahead of the game. Creepy baby. Now, I'm going to ruin Leyendecker's babies for people. They're going to see them. They're always going to think creepy baby. That's really cool. Very, man, it's very stylish. I was going to say Art Nouveau, but I don't know. And someone else mentioned Gustav Klimt. If you don't know Klimt's work, you should definitely check it out. I have a huge Gustav Klimt book, and when I mean huge, I'm talking like it's like as big as an artist edition. It's gigantic. It's really, really wild, and the the fold-outs are enormous. This is a great piece. We saw this earlier in the book. And then here's this bigger. Man, it's just so nice. Sorry, I'm trying to autofocus here. But like even that, look at that. This is beautiful. So yeah, find you in your art. What do you love to draw? What do you love to paint? Do you like to paint happy trees? No, I'm just kidding. I was starting to sound like Bob Ross there for a second. It was kind of creeping me out. Creepy kid. She's like, oh my god, the kid is so weird. Oh man, it's so nice. Okay, we're going to wrap this up in a second, but again, this is going to be a 4-parter. It may even spill into 5, but I hope you don't mind. And, I just wrapped up a deadline, so I have to finish another book today, honestly. It was a book that I'd already done 18 pages of, so I'm finishing the last 2 pages today. But next week we'll get back into the drawing videos, so don't you worry if you're going like, oh man, I'm not into Leyendecker. This stuff is boring. Just hang tight. Well, you know what? Those people, they ain't here in this part of the video. These are all fans. You guys are all fans. Look at that. Dude. I've always wanted to get good at drawing these kind of dresses. I don't know what it is, but it just looks hard and kind of like it seems like something that you'd want to know how to do. What a bird. Man, that's awesome. I think we'll leave it on this one. God dang, this freaking guy. So talented. It's delicious. You hear the rain? It's raining. And again, beautiful porcelain-like skin on the women. They're really, really nice. Man, look at that. I'm telling you, this is such a sweet spot of his career, and he did this stuff for like 20, 25 years. Just delivered it again and again and again and again and again. Honestly, I think part of maybe Rockwell's criticism of his stuff is, look, how long can you get up for doing post covers? I mean, I know that there's a variety of content and stuff like that, but at some point, I mean, you've probably run through about all the ideas you have when you're being commissioned by someone to do something. But that's all this guy knew was, he got really good at art and basically most of the time was working on jobs. So, in his defense, I think if you can deliver the goods for 30 or 40 years at this level, then you know what? If at the end of your career you're not as focused and passionate about it, I kind of get it. But, these guys weren't really trained to do... I mean, you see it with Struzan. We'll do one more page while I talk about Struzan for a second. Like, Struzan is probably one of the greatest movie poster guys ever, and he does his own work, and his own work is good. I don't really find it that interesting, though. It's like his ideas, when put out, are... they're nice, but he's more used to having an assignment and, kind of, look up his personal work and you tell me what you think. And he's even tried to do some comic work, and it was weird, honestly. Like, I know a lot of people that weren't really crazy about him trying to do, I think there's a Hulk on it and a bunch of stuff. It's like a Marvel poster, but it wasn't so good, And, you're talking, but he's not used to drawing without reference. That's the thing, is like, if he doesn't have photos of Harrison Ford, it becomes a lot more challenging for him to do. Leyendecker was a cartoonist. He was a fine artist that could use reference. He would be able to stylize it. I mean, look at this. This is beautiful. And, he may have gone and shot two kids leaping over each other, but at the end of the day, he could draw his ass off too. The combination of the two is just a knockout punch. That's where it gets so good. Okay? All right. I hope that was interesting. And again, I'm not talking disparagingly about. Oh, I always love this piece. You know, it's just my opinion. It's what I see. Struzan is still amazing. The other things that I've mentioned in the video, it's all good. I'm a huge fan, but like anything, there's going to be things that artists excel at and things that they're not as good at. Some baseball players are great at batting, but you go, oh man, if they get a pop fly hit to them, they're terrible at catching the ball. Whatever it is, you know what I mean? You've got your strengths and sort of your more challenging aspects. This is a tuba, by the way. I couldn't think of what it was called when I was watching the first video filming it. Pretty sure it's a tuba. And those are keys, not buttons. So, all right, I'm going to leave you with this. Look at this kid. Everybody loves the lifeguard. Okay, have a great day. Smash the like. Oh, man, this is so nice. What a fun piece. Okay, have a good one. Whoa, I'm a little blurry. Okay, bye.